Alright, it is time for day 14 of FFYLands. So, I did go ahead and hit OP10, and I've been farming for a while, and there are still some upgrades I would love to get, but I'm getting to the point where I get maybe an upgrade every, like, hour at this point. So I think we're pretty much just dead set on trying to do OP10 content instead. Now, I do have items, of course. I've got this Parrot 7 here. This is actually a pretty strong little pistol. It is super duper nice. Let me go ahead and show it off here. So we got this dude. If I shoot it, they just explode. Like it just does a lot of damage. And then if I zoom in and shoot it, it actually fires in bursts. And it does way less crit damage, but it still just hits really darn hard. So it is super duper nice, so we do have that. We've got the Redeemer here, which I did find last time. This thing with Maya, turns out, is very, very strong. Because as you see all of those pellets that come through, that, with the chain reaction effects, is incredible. Maybe too incredible, but I'm not going to complain. This just means I might actually have damage against some guys. And then from here I do have the Obliterator. It is just a lot of pellets and they deal piercing damage. They hit multiple times. It's pretty cool. I don't really need to test the damage on it because it is strong, but it's not like insane strong. So it just does relatively good damage. And then we do have a couple other items here. We've got the Explodinator. It just seems to be an okay damage large blast radius pistol. We've got the Elementator, which is actually going to be really, really nice with these amp shields here, because basically it fires a pellet for every element type in the game. So that's a lot of pellets. And then we have that with an amp shield here, like the Stinger, because the Stinger is just a better B shield, and it is a pearl, so that is pretty cool. And then we've also got this thing. I have not used it yet. I don't know exactly how good it is, so let's go ahead and, I guess, just shoot a guy. Yeah, that does alright. It's not great, obviously. We've got a Bessie here. The Bessie I'm not really sure about either. Let's try to get some distance. Okay, so on crits it does pretty good damage. It has a very low ammo capacity, only like 3 or 4 shots. Kind of just the BL1 Bessie pretty much is the idea there. But yeah, if it hits pretty darn well. We've got the Micro Blaster here. This is very high rate of fire, very high damage SMG as well. It is super duper nice. It feels pretty good. Not really much else to say about it. It is a Tediore. The throw damage isn't great because we're not really spec'd that way to deal that type of damage, but it is good. We've got the Richmond here, which seems to just fire gravity affected projectiles, so let's go to Washburn since it's corrosive. Alright, so we're over here, go ahead and shoot a guy. It does relatively decent damage. It's not crazy, but it is nice. We've got the Devourer here. So this one, when you're zoomed in, it increases your damage based off of your ammo count, which is weird. And then it also restores health and shield whenever you deal damage to enemies. And critical hit kills restore some pistol ammo, health, and shield back further. So we can go ahead and try to use it on a guy. It does okay damage. It's not great, obviously, but it does keep us alive pretty well, so you can't really complain about that. It is sort of just a safety pistol. Next we do have a Golden Stalker. So I'm not really sure what the special effect of this is. I mean, it has an insanely high fire rate, so I guess that might be it. But it doesn't, like, bounce towards enemies, it doesn't home or anything, it's just high damage, high fire rate, stuff like that. So this exists, and it is just good at doing that, I guess. Up next we do have the Heavy 5. I couldn't get a better version of it than OP9, but the scope module fires the entire mag at once with increased accuracy, and your max health increases the damage of the weapon. So we go ahead and slag a guy, shoot him. It's not doing great damage, weirdly, but it is okay to look at. And then if we do just hip fire it, it does have an insane spread, and it burst fires really, really hard. So it exists, for sure. We've got the Ogre. So the Ogre, pretty much just explosive assault rifle, fires faster whenever you hold down the trigger. It's not great for us because we don't really buff assault rifles or explosives in any way, but it pretty much does that. It has a chance to buff itself by becoming better at almost everything, so probably like the Evil Smasher type idea, or just the Ogre itself, how it has its own effect, so it's probably just that. We've got the Nemesis here. There is no escape is what it says, but testing it, it's just kind of decent. Kind of nice little fire rate. I wish I had a corrosive version, of course, to be able to test it properly. It'd probably do a ton of damage. But once again, this kind of does the same thing that the Golden Stalker does. So it's just kind of there, for the most part, I will say. We've got the Guardian here, so passively regenerates assault rifle ammo, clip size determines ammo regen. So it's got a pretty decent mag size. It's got the goofy reticle, because, you know, why not? But that fire rate is pretty nice, and that damage is reasonably high for how high the fire rate is. So, like, yeah, this is pretty good. If I were an assault rifle character, I bet that would be really, really incredible. But even though I'm not, it's still obviously putting in a lot of work. We've got the Neovi, probably is how that's pronounced, and this thing is just a pellet monster. It just puts a lot of pellets down range. I guess since we're playing Maya with chain reaction and stuff like that, it is kind of good for us because we can just put a lot of pellets on dudes. But the pellets themselves don't really do a lot of damage. I guess you could try to wear it with an amp shield and just like delete your eardrums, but it's not really doing insane damage by itself. Up next we've got Cine, probably is how it's pronounced, Reach for the Sky. Each hit raises its potential damage, so I'm assuming this is probably, yeah, it just deals more damage every time that you score a hit, and it's also getting ammo back on successful hits, so that is pretty cool. I guess you could just spam this at a guy and maybe eventually just crash your game or kill him, don't really know. And the stacks do seem to go away, so after like 100 stacks I bet it kind of plateaus because it'll start to get rid of them. But it seems okay, I think. Let's go ahead and put on a Witch Comm with it, just to give it a little more respect. And yeah, the stacks are building up pretty fast, so that is pretty cool. But yeah, 105, that's where we're starting to plateau because the stacks do start to go away. And it just doesn't do incredible damage for us. Maybe if we were playing like Zero or somebody, that could be really, really good. But it's just not for us. Alright, up next we have Elemental Storm. So it says this thing melts, but I've tested it a little bit and it doesn't feel incredible. The scope module, when you're zooming in, increases status effect damage by 60% at the cost of increased ammo consumption, and every bullet fired from this thing will deal corrosive, incendiary, and shock damage at the same time. So we phase lock a guy, we shoot a guy, and the dots are pretty okay, but the actual damage itself isn't really too exciting to look at. We can go ahead and like try it in this room a little bit here, try to put some dots on a guy, and it'll do okay. The corrosive is nice because it does stagger enemies, but it's not doing outstanding damage, of course. We've also got a Crux. Now, the Crux is referenced to BL1. It does seem to kind of have the Butcher's effect, and the damage is pretty decent on it. It does non-elemental and explosive at the same time, so if we were an explosive character, this would probably feel really, really good. I don't know if it can spawn within the other elements. I kind of doubt it since it has the whole, you know, explosive theme to it, but that is potentially a thing. I kind of doubt it though. And then the last thing I'm going to show is we do have a Becca here. So the scope module for the Becca causes it to dump the entire mag at the same time, but if we hip fire it here, you can see it is one pellet followed by that after pellet. And then if we zoom in, yeah, it'll dump the whole thing. So like maybe this could be useful. The damage doesn't seem to be incredible on it. so maybe not for us, maybe an assault rifle character once again, but it's certainly trying, at the very least. And real quick, I am just going to cover how we have been farming out these items. So I have been doing runs of Geary and Iridium Blight, but I also do have a teleport point set to binary here, mainly just because we do know how to consistently do the skip, and so it's just more of a time sink than anything else when you think about how long it takes to farm out items. And then with this Redeemer gun here, if we shoot it at the guy, you'll notice the game might lag a little bit. And if we get our distancing right, it just kind of starts to deal a lot of damage for no reason, kind of pretty much for free. So I don't think this is an intended effect, but it is nice for us because it does mean that our farming has been a little bit easier and a little bit nicer. But yeah, we can pretty much just dump it into this guy, and then if we get downed, we can just kind of like do this a little bit. We can go ahead and shoot the gun a little bit more, and basically just try to get ourselves a kill here. Now, I forgot to buy sniper ammo, so I did die there, but he's still alive, so theoretically you could just bully him off spawn, and then re-enter DigiPeak, and then wow, I'm down here where he was. That's kinda crazy. Geary has been mainly our source of our weapons, but when it comes to a lot of other stuff like our grenades and shields, it's mainly been binary here. So with those shields, we've got the Stinger, which is the B shield, but stronger. It increases weapon swap speed, and it grants an 80% chance to reduce incoming bullet damage by 80%. And then we've got the Rose, which is a reference to BL1, of course. It provides rapid health regen when your shield is depleted. It provides 4 times damage reduction while it's depleted as well. And it makes lifesteal 4 times less effective, which is kind of a downside, but with how difficulty scales in BL2, with how much more damage you deal than you have health, it's really not an issue. We can just hold the grog and get our health bar back anyway, and it also provides plus to max health. It has a pretty decent capacity, and it's just a nice little tanky shield. Up next we have the Devastator. It has a 92% chance to absorb enemy bullets and reduce their damage by 98%. Body shots with this do provide extra piercing damage, which is that new piercing damage type, so that will ignore enemy resistances, which is pretty cool. And then if you get a critical hit, it will apply slag at a 2% chance per pellet hit, so that is also really nice. This shield with this sniper rifle right here against binary can make my game lag a lot, mainly because it's trying to apply that extra piercing on top of the damage that it already has, but it is pretty cool. It just can cause lag, so that's just kind of a thing to look out for. It reduces weapon recoil and spread by 50%, and you receive 2.5 times less bullet and explosive damage, so that is also pretty cool. And then the last two I'm just going to cover real quick. We've got the Survival Pack. The Survival Pack we've already seen. It decreases status effect duration, stuff like that, reduced incoming damage, so we've already seen this. And then we do have a Hide of Terra, because that does world drop from binary as well. So this increases movement speed and max health and adds health regen. You take 1.6 times less damage, and then on top of that it already does all of the other Hide of Terra stuff. So this is pretty cool to see. It's pretty nice to have. I did also get a new resupplier in case we need a bunch of ammo real fast. We have a sham in case I want to rocket jump. And that's most of it. We've got a new Slag Vampire. We've got an Electroshock, which is just a chain lightning. We've got the Nuclear Thunder, which is a throwable nukem that costs 5 grenade ammo to throw. And its damage is okay, at least for our character. Maybe on a different character it'd be stronger. And then we do have a newer Corsair here. And the Corsair does really nice damage. It's kind of a meteor shower, but up close. And that is pretty nice too. Now that we've talked for about 16-17 minutes straight, let's go ahead and try to do DigiPeak. It's going to be at OP10. We're going to try to take advantage of all the items that we have already gotten. I'll just show any sticking points, any pain points that I might run into, but you know that we skipped most of DigiPeak, and we're just kind of running through it in a normal style as a proof of concept, so hopefully it'll be okay. It might hurt because it is OP10 peak, but we'll probably be able to get through it, hopefully. Alright, so just in case off spawn this guy happens to be here, we're going to wear a legendary phase locker. There is no spider tank. Okay, immediately switching off of that for a normal damage comm instead. I am going to wear the gunslinger for a lot of this because I do have a lot of faith in this pistol right here. And then I do have the redeemer as a backup if we need it. But hopefully just these together should be enough to get us through. Probably. Yeah, just kind of like what I was expecting there. The Redeemer, if we have two enemies that are close to each other, can basically cause a generic Pimpernel type chain reaction, and pretty much just get rid of whatever problem exists in front of us. So yeah, anytime we can get two mobs stacked like that, we're just probably guaranteed to delete them. So that felt pretty good. Alright, and here's the part of Peak that I am terrified of. It is Dukino's mom. So, hopefully, with a little bit of luck, we can just kind of like ignore our problems. We're not going to be able to do that. She has on... Okay, she has on an impaler. That's rough. That's really, really bad, actually. She doesn't seem to be able to do shock lobs. I think maybe that is a benevolent developer decision. Hopefully. Oh, but that melee radius is really bad. Okay. So yeah, she can't really do... Oh, nope, there they are. Okay, hold on. Oh, they're really weak. Cool. Sure. Okay. Weirdly vanilla-like experience on Dukino's. I really expected her to be horrible. I thought that she would just have insane, like, DPS, and that was just going to be rough. So that was actually kind of nice. That feels pretty good. Okay, cool. Alright, so immediately into the next area, Black Queen started spawning. So can I just kind of, like, take advantage of our chain reaction damage here? Yes, I can. And then there are no other ads, so unfortunately we are going to have to deal with at least one of them. Well, hold on. Okay, cool. Never mind. Alright. We're good. Alright, how are boneheads? If I just get that sweet spot with the sniper, not a problem. Okay, cool. Alright, Doc Mercy kind of can get bullied the same way everyone else can. I think realistically what I'm figuring out here is that this sniper rifle just feels really, really good. So the Redeemer might just be the move for a lot of the video game. Well, whenever it's available. And once again, taking advantage of enemies being close to each other for that chain reaction damage there. That felt really, really good. And then we'll just kind of have to deal with him relatively normally, like that. So if there were ever a room to really just get farmed in, I think this would be the room. So we're just going to kind of try to respectfully deal with them. He does have health regen. This is where we take advantage of our shock damage, because shock dots actually reduce enemy healing by 75% in this mod, and I just have not used that knowledge yet. So this is actually a great thing to test out. Crunchy. Oh, wait, he's gonna get his health bar back. Hold on. There we go. Alright, cool. So, thank goodness for that spider tank rotation, because that let us just kind of get that kill, and now I'm kind of in a bad spot for the next two guys, I'm gonna be honest. I do not like being between these guys ever. They are always just a bad time. Maybe I can get them to bunch up for the chain reaction though. Alright, there we go. And we are out of ammo for that, so just kind of treat them respectfully, I guess. Okay, yeah, this feels pretty good. This Devastator shield is kind of nice. Okay, Assassin's down first try too. That's pretty good. Okay, so here's an enemy I would not advise being this creative with here, but... Ooh, come on! If your computer can handle it, maybe this is an option. Alright, that's one Saturn down already. That feels absurd, I will say. And now we just have a Saturn with no turrets. Okay, actually not bad. Kind of terrifying, but not bad. Here we go. Okay, double Saturns are down. Feels pretty good. I forgot he has a reflective shield that doesn't actually exist. But there we go. So at this point we are pretty much done with all of the extra dangerous mobs that exist in Peak. And it's pretty much just a casual walk up to the boss fight. So we should be okay. The main thing I've learned is that this sniper rifle and sometimes this pistol are just really, really nutty. Of course, I could have a pistol that's literally dealing 6-7 times more damage if it did spawn with the mashing prefix. So this could be literally just 6 times better. So I would love to have that, and I would love to farm that out, but RNG is really not in my favor as I've farmed for like 6 hours on times 25 spawns Geary, and that was not in the cards, not even a little bit. But to be fair, I did get to do it pretty casually. I was just watching someone else's live stream, maybe a little bit of YouTube, and just enjoying the rest of my night like that pretty much. And I will say, as much as the game is trying to lag out sometimes, my actual computer itself is doing just fine. It's literally just the fact that this game's engine cannot tolerate this. So if we could, I don't know, magically find a way to make the engine not freak out, we literally probably could make stronger mods. Because like I'm not having a problem. My computer is like just okay with this, weirdly. And here we are back to binary. So yeah, you already know what we're gonna do to binary. We're just gonna get close enough with the sniper rifle, with this devastator shield, and hopefully not get farmed harder than we farm him. We can always get up on turrets because his turrets are all pretty susceptible to this damage. But it should just be mostly free, pretty much, for right now. I will say, if you're on a later patch and this sniper rifle isn't as good, I apologize. I don't know if I'll be the reason why, or if they'll just discover that it's like this. But it's kind of like this. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And there we go. OP10 Digipeak has been cleared. I will say, the only thing I was really scared of was Dukino's mom, and that turned out to be actually weirdly chill for the most part. So yeah, that feels pretty good. I guess from here, the only OP10 content that I'm really interested in is raid bosses. We might try to do 1 or 2 today. but I am worried about how difficult and how much of a time investment they are going to be, and actually being able to show off the entire fight without this video being like an hour and a half long would be nice. So we'll probably just start with like Terra, and then if Terra feels good, we'll move on from there. But if not, that might be it. Alright, OP10 Terra. I don't know if he has doubled health like issues or anything, but I guess we're gonna find out while we're here. And hopefully I can deal damage to him. It looks like his health bar is already moving, which is a really, really good sign, because last time we couldn't even move it an inch. Yeah, so this looks promising. Let me try on the Stinger, see what that feels like. Oh. I mean, I'm dead, but like, oh. Okay, cool.
Bye now.
Okay, good to know phase log can in fact one-tap the tentacles. So that is actually really good utility for us. Okay, so we're back to the start of the DPS rotation for Terra, and not bad, half a health bar at OP10, that's like respectable-ish. Obviously a Sal main would laugh at this, but like, that's not bad. I might have doomed myself. It kind of just depends on how fast he waits to spawn tentacles. Yeah, he's gonna wait really, really long to spawn tentacles. Okay, so I have felt hyper aggressive the entire fight, and yeah, he waited a little bit too long on tentacles, so I did die there. But this actually feels like I can play so aggressive. It's almost ridiculously insane how aggressive I feel like I can be. Ow. Okay, I have sniper ammo though.
I'm back, bitches.
Oh, come on, it's so close. Alright, OP10 Terra is down. That only took 3 attempts? That ain't bad at all, honestly. Feels pretty good. That's not bad. Alright, cool, yeah. So we got Breath of Terra. It probably does Breath of Terra stuff. Yes, it does. That's pretty cool. We got a Guardian, already know what that is. We got a Twister, already know what that is. Yeah, that felt weird. I was able to be hyper aggressive the entire time. I wasn't expecting that. I thought I would be rockbound the entire time I was doing that fight, but no, that felt great. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that didn't take long. Let's go try Pete, I guess. Okay, so for Pyro Pete, I'm probably going to go ahead and immediately summon ads. Go ahead and get some slag off on him, grab a phase lock target, and start blasting, I think. That's probably the move here. Let's just maintain a good distance. This should be about right. Okay, he's trying to be a little more aggressive. Oh yeah, okay. We can phase lock him? Why? Alright, yeah, sure, we can phase lock the raid boss. Okay, cool, let's do that. I'm taking full advantage of this idea. So, he is, probably pretty chill. That, dot he applies is very scary, so you do need to be pretty ready for it, and he can just deck you in the face for your entire health bar. Fair enough, okay. Well, I guess we're dead from trying to disrespect him that hard, but I don't feel too bad about this fight. This feels like it might be kind of chill. Okay, so mid-fight update, he has gotten stuck. He is very upset about it too. It's kind of funny. Sometimes he'll just try to jump scare us by just jumping forward a little bit, and then he just doesn't do anything. There we go. Alright, Pete that is a lot of Seraphs and Torb tokens. Okay. Pete is down. That felt more difficult than Terra. In terms of overall healthiness, I think Terra definitely either had less health or was way more susceptible to the Redeemer, especially considering those tentacles do just kind of exist to give you free revives at times, and also you could just one-shot them with phase lock in this mod. But yeah, I mean, respectable, reasonable almost, I would say. You definitely, if you're playing at the max difficulty, should take advantage of cheesing the boss. As you can see, I was definitely doing that. Because, I mean, fighting him normally, he would totally just knock you out. He would just, you would have a dot on you, and apparently it's insanely strong in this mod, so just don't do it. Just put him up there, or like go up there and see if he'll follow you. Or just be safe up there, because that's just a thing that you can do. So, yeah, Pete, more difficult than Terra, and that feels weird because normally he's easier. Alright, and turn this in, and we get the choice between a resupplier and a zapper. I don't really want or need either of them, but this has been a pretty successful day. We've shown off some stuff, we've done OP10 peak, and we've taken out 2 raid bosses. I'm gonna go ahead and stop here for the sheer sake of not having a 50-minute long YouTube video, but this sniper rifle is very, very nice, especially with the Stinger. So before it gets nerfed, I'm gonna continue with the rest of the raid bosses tomorrow, and then this should just be the hard carry the entire time, I think, because that's exactly what it feels like. It has let me be super aggressive, it puts out a ton of damage, the chain reaction with Maya feels absurd. So yeah, this is super duper nice. I will be crutching on it again, but that does it for today. So yeah, day 14.